Welcome to Full Court Sundays. God is great. God is good. It's a blessing to be here on another Sunday. Today, I am honored to have someone very special in my life, family member. We've been together for probably 40, 30 years, and it's a pleasure to have you, Carl Martin. Give it up for Carl Martin.
Pleasure being here, brother.
Yeah, Carl, he's the author of a famous book that we're going to talk about called The Booster. And his dad is the famous guy. I love Uncle Ed Martin so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Twine. You know that's special to me, too.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to get into that a little later, but we got a lot to talk about, so we're going to have some fun. Let's talk about where you were born and your brother Brucey, and what high school you went to, and let's get into
All right. Well, I was born in Detroit, northeast side of Detroit. As far as high schools, it was in the Persian area.
Right.
But we attended elementary school, my brother and I, at Corville, one of the largest elementaries in the city at the time. Then we progressed on. We went to Jesuit Academy and U of D High. And that's where I learned a lot about life, a lot about things, because I was at the age where you progress a lot, became a driver, experienced the city, and also got into traveling with my father to a lot of basketball games. He was a big fan, and high school was one of his favorite levels because he said it represented the essence of the game.
Right.
You didn't play for money, you didn't play for fame, you played for the love of the game.
Right.
And I know it's progressing a little ahead, but in that statement, I'll say that's what attracted him so much to Southwestern and Perry Watson, you guys, because you are the essence of that work ethic that he approved of and supported so much during high school. So then after that, my brother's older than me, so he attended U of M prior to me going there.
Right.
And once we matriculated through U of M, we've been off into different professions and living a great life. But I will say, it's enhanced by having such a great father that showed us the way and introduced us to how community support really should be handled. And the reason why he did that was because he saw a need. And so we'll get into that a little later. But that's kind of our educational history and where what landed us in Detroit. We're both still in the area and living here with family and enjoying it, enjoying life.
Yeah. Tell us what you studied at U of M and why.
Okay, when I arrived, I studied economics and philosophy. Now, that's a weird combination, but, I mean, economics to me was practical, and philosophy was something I was interested in and became interested in at U of D High. Just the way that people put together their thought process and what brought them to the conclusions that they did. And I learned that was based mostly on your life circumstances and what influences you had.
Exactly.
So it was helpful, and economics is the way of the world. So I also use that on a daily basis.
Okay, yeah. Hey, you got to use that on a daily basis, and that's the reason we go to get that education.
That's right.
It helps you carry out so far in life.
Yes, it does.
Tell us about your lovely wife, Robin, and your kids, and what are they doing now?
So I have kids of 34, 24, 22, and 16. Brandon, our son, He's doing great. He's actually represents players. Principal Sports Management is his company. And he has some NBAers. He has a lot of European hoopers. And he does a great job with his guys because he stresses financial astuteness. Matter of fact, he will not represent anybody that does not want to participate on growing their a financial basis, saving and planning for the future and the legacy of their family. So he's doing very well.
Yes,
he's also
doing great.
Yeah.
Very proud of him.
He's also an investor in the city, so he's in the area still some of the time when he's not traveling and doing well. My oldest daughter, who is 24, is in law school at Howard. She's at Howard Law, and this is her first year in law, and she's doing great. And she's a real go-getter, so I'm proud of her and know that she'll be okay. Kelsey, that's my middle girl. She's matriculating at MSU.
Doing very well.
Yes, doing quite well, and you know her well.
Yes.
And so she's on the right path. And then my superstar youngest daughter, Kendall.
The volleyball girl.
That's the volleyball girl. She's a good athlete, and she's a better person and a better student. I always like to commend her because look, she puts school first.
Yes.
When it's time for us to go to the gym, Daddy, I can't do it. I have too much homework tonight. We'll have to do it tomorrow. So I don't have to direct her much. She's self-directed superstar. So that's Kendall. And Robin, she's still doing real estate in the city and in the area, and she's doing quite well. Happy to be the mother of such great children, and so that's the layout of the Martin family right now.
Man, give it up for the Martin family because you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you.
You know, being a leader and doing, man, you know, you had such great parents, man. I loved your mom so much, your dad, man. Tell us about Mom. Let's talk about Mom. You can't leave her
My
out.
favorite subject when you talk about Mom, Hilda Martin.
Yes.
You know, she passed in 2003, the same year as my father, just a few months later.
Right.
And I think about her every day because it's something that she added to my life that I experience on a daily basis. If it's just, you know, cooking a roast or something that I have to posthumously envision her and bring her essence to me just so I can get through the moment. So I still live through her, you know. And she was a very giving person. She supported Ed 100%, and that allowed him to do so much more in the community because you can't have someone at home saying, why aren't you here, or, you know, where you going, so many things. Since she was supportive, and he deserved that support. But, you know, she was a very elegant woman.
Yes,
when people tell me stories now of when they would come to the house and the impact that she had on them, I've had people come back 10, 12, 15 years later, knock on their door and just wanted to tell my mother and father, but sometimes especially my mother, how much they helped them.
Right.
Because everyone doesn't have the same influences.
No.
And my parents both were very consistent in wanting to uplift the lives of the people they came in contact with.
Yes.
And they did that, you know, so they accomplished their goal. So I love them both, and I love them for doing that because it showed me the way that I can help and improve my community along with myself, you know, at the same time.
Yes. And you're still doing that, man. You give back so much, man. I know your business, you know, you do construction and you give back.
Yes.
You help people that it can't even pay, man.
Yes.
You help
that's
children,
true.
you know.
That's true.
And that's what we learn. That's what it's all about. Is about giving back, man, and sharing, and that's what we talk about, growing in the D. You still in the D. You still support. You grew up, and you know how tough it is.
Yes.
Man. It's always challenging and stuff, man. And you go on now, and you've been running your construction business for how many years? Tell us about that.
It's been a little over 20 years, and I've had different stages.
Wow.
Yeah.
20 years, you know.
I started as a help aid to our real estate business, which was focusing on investors and a lot of first-time investors.
Right.
A lot of them had trouble accessing the proper tradesmen and help to repair the homes to become rentals or resales, depending on what their determined goal was. And so I was always assisting because I knew people, electricians, plumbers, everybody. Then one day I made it formal, went and got a builder's license, only that would give me a higher level of trust with the people that were coming in and needing the assistance.
Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Yeah, take us back to 81, 82, and 83. I mean, those were some exciting years, man. Let's go back.
You know, what was a trip is when I came to the Southwestern game, you were a sophomore.
Right.
And when I'm looking for a guy. I played a little ball.
Yes, you played good.
Right. But no, when I got to that game, I realized, dang, do I know Antoine? I'm like, that's him out there. It was amazing, man. To see a guy with the skills and abilities and the comfort level of being in that position. I mean, at a certain point later, like 82, 83, a lot of people were coming at you and all that. They noticed your talent. You were putting up points. Speaking of which, there was no three-point line.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
I just got to say, think of no three-point line and averaging 35 or 37 junior and 35 points. I mean,
yeah,
where's that come from? But, I'll give my opinion because I'm speaking. And I think you were the greatest scorer in high school basketball and if not one of the greater players that ever stepped on the court, bro.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
so
thank
I know
you. I really appreciate that.
But it was a great time because my father became close to the Southwestern program.
Yes,
and
he
helped
did.
Him. He was an energy guy. He had to have something to do.
Right.
And he came home one day and said, I found that these kids need help. They need support.
Man,
they got a great coach.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll get to it. But
so
the early days were filled with just fun and frolic because that was the burgeoning judge on the court.
Man, those were the days, man. And I remember when we were going to the championship, Coach Watson said he wanted all the kids to wear a suit coat and a tie. I don't care if you have blue jeans on or whatever, but I want you guys to have a suit coat and a tie. And, being from the hood, that's what we talking about, growing up in the D, know. And none of these kids really had, suit coats.
Yes.
And your father took the whole team out and got a suit coats and ties.
Hey, I have to clap for that.
Yeah, you remember that.
Yeah, I do. And the thing, that's called support. See,
you were
had a
there
purpose.
too.
He had a purpose in wanting you to do that. He wanted to teach you guys the way to present yourself when you go on the road, places, etc.
Yes.
And so he ordered this to happen. But it couldn't happen with a lot of people because they didn't have the clothes.
Right.
So my dad said, no, it's a purpose to this.
That's
it should
right.
happen. It's going to happen as long as we can make it happen.
That's
so his
right.
thing was about action. Make it happen.
That's right. He sacrificed what he had to do. And a lot of people don't do that. Your dad sacrificed, say, hey, I can take $1,000 out of my bank account and get these young men so they'll look unified and together and professional as young men. And that teaches you something, man, that you learn in life, that this is the way I gotta be as a kid. And I thank him for that, and I love him for that. Give it up for Ed on that.
All right. And if I cannot add to that, think how you feel when the coach says, okay, I want everyone to wear a sport coat, suit coat, whatever, and a tie.
Right.
And you don't have it.
You don't have it,
so
man.
So that affects your self-esteem, the way you move, the way you
carry yourself. It affects everything.
Maybe the quality of your play in that game.
Right.
But when that gap is filled, it does the opposite It has the opposite effect. It uplifts you.
It
You say,
uplifts
there's
you,
somebody,
man.
these people are for me.
That's
and I'm going to do my best for them. So it's an equal exchange. You know?
Equal exchange.
And those kids gave that.
Yeah.
You're one of them. But those kids, you know them.
Yeah.
They gave of themselves
all of
on the
them
highest
I know.
level.
Yeah, all of the Southwestern Prospector family love. I mean, like, after we win games and stuff, the dinners, you know, being able to get pizza, you know, and I love Perry so much.
Yes.
But we, you know, Perry didn't have the money, you know.
Right.
And I know my parents worked every day, but I had friends that had one parent.
Yes.
You know, and 3, 4 siblings at home.
Yeah.
And they didn't have no money.
No.
You know, so to be able to go and have training tables before you even go to college, it means something, man.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about that.
You know, Ed Martin is, I will say, he has an excessive personality. What I mean by that, everything he does, you know, he overdoes. I would say, you know. So, you know, he's into Southwestern in the program. I mean, and he'll do whatever it takes. He wants to show great dedication. Okay,
Right.
And I remember some of the players.
Always.
Yeah. Like
and professionalism.
One day, you know, Southwestern Public School, they got, you know, a little training room and stuff, but they don't have the level. They're not collegiate level.
No.
But my dad once took one of the players to Bally's for, that was Bally's Fitness. So he could take steams and sauna to try to heal a muscle that obviously he wanted to work well during the game.
During the game.
I mean, he would do stuff like that. And the player was sick. Here he is on the porch coming to the house with Robitussin and fresh squeezed orange juice. You know what I'm talking about? You got to get better. And it was for, we wanted him to play, but it was for the kid, to support that kid and give him the confidence that you get when you got a man with means behind you.
Yeah.
And so he was great at doing all those things and show up at after practices in the summer, which had nothing to do with the schedule coming in the fall or anything like that, with trunks of Gatorade or snacks and food. Just, hey, it's 2-a-days, it's tough, it's whatever's going on. I'm here. You got a problem at home? I'm here.
Yeah.
He dealt with a lot of home issues that the players would bring to him. He could sense something wrong with the guy. He would go up to say, hey, how's it going? And so at the end of the day, he wanted to be there to support them personally, and no matter if it's a problem with a parent, problem with a sibling, maybe I remember some of the houses that weren't the best structures. You know, we got water coming in. He's like, you know, that's uncomfortable and it's unhealthy. Let's fix that.
Let's fix that.
So he was a great force outside of the game because he said, you know what, Perry's a great coach. We don't talk basketball unless we just talk about theories because he's got that.
Yeah.
What he needs help in, like every person would, is the off-court life.
Yeah.
I mean, now you got 15 people or so that you're trying to manage.
Right.
And some have, stable homes and everything. Most did not.
Most did not.
That's just the truth.
Yeah.
And so adding stability to an unstable environment is what he wanted to do. Ed did too. And he was accomplished in that as well.
Yeah.
We got stories, man. You know, we
go on forever because I know he helped kids go to camp, man. I remember we used to go to camp, man. Kids don't have no $300-400 for camp for a week, man.
No.
You know, so Perry worked the camps. He sacrificed his money that they gonna pay him to get his kids in.
Isn't that something?
Then your dad would throw in some money to help us go to basketball camp, man. And you don't get that from many people, man. It's the heart, man, and the love, man. And that's what our community needs to help our kids and generations.
Yeah. And it's so rare that to jump ahead, that was the reason why there was an investigation into my dad. One of them is that, no one just gives out money, so what's going on, you know? And so that's a Michigan thing. We'll get to that, but at the end of the day, it's so rare for people to put themselves out and dedicate their money to a cause on that level that they just said this can't be. And when they did millions of dollars worth of investigation, they found out that it was just that. But he was a unique person. Ed Martin, my father, and the acts he has done are still unique, or to me, not duplicated. since
No,
him.
not duplicated and gonna be forever history, man.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because you know, today's generation of kids, you know, they getting